Namaskar, my dear friends. We were seeing CAN transceiver IC. So in that, what we'll do this time is we'll try to understand MCP2561FD. There is another variant MCP2562FD, that is flexible data rate. Okay. So this IC is very popular, very powerful. That is coming from microchip technology. We have already seen MCP2551. Now that was not recommended for new design. However, MCP2561 is good IC recommended for new design as well, and it is coming up with two packages. One is like a PDIP package, another one is even SOIC package, and we have DFN package availabilities also. So there are almost three packages that is available for this particular ICs. Okay, so DFN package is available. As you can see from the product database, and it is saying that high speed CAN FD transceiver with standby mode as well as split pin. Okay, so these two variants are available. Okay, and this is very good for automotive design, and it is coming up with like EMIMC compatibility. It has ESD protection, so those many things are there. Let us try to directly understand what are the different features of this particular CAN transceiver IC. So it has a maximum propagation delay of just 120 nanosecond. You can see this is very good. It has like very good speed, which is coming up to around 2 Mbps. It implements your ISO like standards, which is required for the CAN transceiver or CAN physical layers, which is basically ISO 11898-2 and 11898-5. Okay, it is coming up with AEC-Q 100 grade 0 capabilities. That is this is the like grade that is there. So AEC-Q 100 is actually applicable for your all automotive applications. Okay, now it has very low standby current, which is typically 5 microampere, that's all. And it has a VIO supply pin. Okay, which can directly connected to CAN controller or microcontroller with 1.8 volt to 5.5 volt IOs. So even if your microcontroller is having 1.8 volt IOs or 3.3 volt IOs or 5 volt IOs, so any of these like voltage labels, input output pins of microcontroller can be directly connected through the this CAN transceiver. Okay, it has split output pin to stabilize common mode in biased split transmit like termination scheme. So all those features are always like there are permanent dominant detection on TXD pin, dominant detection on bus is there. If you can see, we have voltage brown out protection on VDD pin, and if you see, we have protection against high voltage transients on automotive environment. So in automotive environment, you will see there is a lot of transients that is coming up. Okay, and in that case it has a very good protection against those high voltage transients. You will find out like a lot of good companies are asking questions in their interviews as well, like what kind of CAN transceiver we should utilize, or how we are going to design CAN transceiver uh, circuits. Okay, so this is going to be very informative session about the circuit design as well as the CAN overviews, like what are the different terminologies that is used, what is your TXD pin, RXD pin, all those things. All right, as you can see, it has automatic thermal shutdown protection. It means what is, let's say this IC is allowing you to heat up to around 150 degrees centigrade. So as soon as the temperature goes beyond 150 degrees centigrade, then what happens, the IC goes into shutdown mode and it enters again back into working mode once the temperature retains its normal values. So there will be some hysteresis. Let's say it doesn't start working just at 150 degree centigrade. It will get cooled down, let's say maybe 130 degree centigrade, which will be available in the DC characteristics. Okay, now the very good thing is this particular CAN transceiver IC is very much suitable for your 12 volt and 24 volt systems application. Okay, and radiated emission at 2 Mbps with common mode choke is there. Okay, then it has DPI at 2 Mbps with CMC common mode choke. It has high ESD protection, okay, on CAN high and CAN low lines, meeting IEC 61000-4-2. So this is the ESD standard, okay, that I have talked about in our previous videos. So this is going up to plus minus 14 kV, okay. So MCP 2551 was taking up plus minus 6 kV, but right now it is taking up to plus minus 14 kV. So this is much better IC, and it is available in your PD package, that is your through hole package, then SOIC package, as well as DFN package. You can see it has extended temperature range IC as well, minus 40 to 125 degree centigrade, as well as industrial range, which is minus 40 to 85 degree centigrade. And it has high temperature range IC also available with minus 40 to up to 120 150 degree centigrade capabilities. Okay. So let us try to proceed to the more overview of this particular IC, MCP2561FD. So if you see some of the family members, so as I told you earlier, MCP2561FD is having split pin, okay, and 62FD is having VIO pin, okay. So this is the only two difference that is available with your 61FD and 62FD. So 61F, our target device in this particular session will be MCP 2561FD with sorry, it is not D, it is it is D, okay, D for Delhi, with SOIC package, okay. So this is the device that we have utilized in our design, in our client applications. So as you can see the package type, let us concentrate on MCP2561FD PD package as well as SOIC package. So if you want a very sturdy uh, on the PCB, you can utilize PD package, and SOIC package is also almost same, but it has little bit lesser thermal capabilities, okay. If you want to have very good thermal uh, heat dissipation capabilities, then you can go ahead with your DFN package also. However, the package is inside, the pins are not exposed, so you may find some difficulty in handling it, but this is preferred in high-end applications where like you don't have to keep touching the IC. All right, so as you can see, pin number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so these are the pins that that's how they are associated. We'll try to understand the pin description. So we'll concentrate on MCP 2561 FD, PD, and SOIC. So pin number 1 is TXD, which is transmit data input. Then 2 is VSS, which is ground. So this is the symbol and this is the pin function. Okay. We have VDD pin, which is power supply pin, that will be taken as 5-volt power supply. We have RXD, that is a receive data output. We have split pin, but split pin is available in our device. So split pin is common mode stabilization. Only 6.1 is having, that MCP2561FD is having. In 6.2 we have VIO pin, but we are not concentrating on that one right now. Pin number 6 is your CAN low level voltage IO, and CAN high level voltage IO, that is pin number 7. We have one stabilization pin, that is a standby mode, which is pin number 8. Okay, and exposed thermal pad is only available in your DFN package. As you can see, this is your DFN package, but our main target is this one, which is PD package or SOIC package. Okay. Now let us quickly see the block diagram of this particular CAN transceiver IC. So as you can see in this, we have driver and slope control, and directly it is getting connected with the MOSFET drivers, which is going to CAN high and CAN low. Okay. Now we have power supply pin VDD. We have power on reset, under voltage lockout. We have thermal protection built inside. So as you can see, this is cross signal is actually giving you the pin output, and inside it has the functionalities. Okay. So a split pin has the capability of giving you the voltage reference output kind of thing, which will be equal to VDD by 2. Okay. If it is having VIO pin, then it will be having digital IO supply that will be given. Let's say 3V3 you can give, or 5-volt also you can give, up from 1.8 to 5.5 you can give. Okay. We have transmit data input, we have standby mode, we have RXD, and we have VSS, that is ground. So this is how the complete block diagram is adjusted here in for this particular IC. Now some of the very high end interview questions are being asked in hardware design circuits. So they try to ask you what are the different operation modes for the current transceiver IC. Okay, so if you see the modes, we have normal mode, we have standby mode. So standby pin value will be what in that in those cases. So whenever you want to have it in normal mode, the standby pin must be low. Okay, so the IO connected to this standby pin will be low. Okay, so that will be your normal mode operation. If it is high, then it will be a standby. That is, it is the transceiver is not working. That transceiver is not active. All right. Now coming to the RxD pin in those cases. So if it is working in normal mode, in that case, what will happen? If it is low, the bus is dominant. If it is high, the bus is recessive. So dominant mode and recessive mode, as I have already told about the CAN transceiver protocols. So dominant mode is low and recessive mode will be high. Got it? If you talk about transmitter functions, so what are the two different functions? One will be dominant state, one will be recessive state. So as I told you, what are the dominant state and recessive state? Let me give you a very different very easy method how to identify. So if you want to see that the transmitter bus is in dominant state, then what will happen is the CAN low minus CAN high. The difference of these two voltage must be greater than V difference. Okay. Similar to that, recessive state, what will happen is the CAN low high minus CAN low will be lower than V difference recessive state. Okay. So this is how it is identified as dominant mode or recessive mode. Now, if you talk about dominant mode and recessive mode, what happens is these states correspond to low. So if my TXD pin is low, then it will be dominant. If my TXD pin is high, then it will be recessive. Okay, so this is how you can identify whether the a bus transmission is in dominant mode or is in recessive mode. So recessive mode where transmit TXD pin will be high. Dominant mode, my TXD pin will be low. The TXD data line will be low state. Okay. Similar to that recessive function, you can have like in normal mode operation or normal mode, the RxD pin output reflects the differential bus voltage between CAN high and CAN low. Okay. So this is what I wanted to tell you. As I already mentioned about standby mode. So standby mode, you have to make sure that STB pin, that is STBY pin, will be high to make the IC go into standby mode. Or if it has to be active all the time, then you keep it low. So standby pin will be low for working it in active mode. Now let us talk about some of the typical application that is given in datasheet directly. So as you can see, we have battery voltage. So you can give any voltage here, like your supply voltage. So that is basically your VDD voltage or VCC voltage. So that is coming to be 5 volt with one bypass capacitor of 0.1 volt, 0.1 microfarad. So this is your VDD supply. All right. Now coming to the fact that CAN high and CAN low is there, and we have a 120 ohm load. So you can see 60 ohm, the 60 ohm they are split. So this particular typical application is shown in split mode. Okay, if you want, you can leave this split pin floating and you directly connect 120 ohm here. Okay, that's it. Then we have this ground pin connected. Coming to the fact that a microcontroller which is having CAN transceiver capabilities. Okay, so you can see CAN transmitter and CAN receiver are connected to TXD line and RxD line of your CAN transceiver. Okay, so CAN TX line of microcontroller and CAN RX of microcontroller will be connected to respective pins of TXD and RxD of your CAN transceiver IC. Now one of the GPIO we will need to put the transceiver into a standby mode, which is going as a output pin from the microcontroller to the CAN transceiver of its standby pin. Okay, so that's all. This is the very simple design. We will implement this particular design in our circuit just now. Let us take another version which was 2562 also. I'll just give you a brief discussion on that as well. So as I told you, the power supply is VDD, which is 5 volt power supply that is needed. It has CAN high and CAN low. Directly you can connect 120 ohm. That's all done. We have TXD and RXD pin, and we have a standby through a GPIO, which will be going high for making it inactive, and which will be going low for working it in normal mode. Okay. Now, one more pin is available in this particular, variant is VIO, like IO supply. So IO supply, it is given 1.8 volt LDO and 1.8 volt is coming here. You want, if your, VDD supply is for the particular microcontroller is 3.3 volt, then you have to supply 3.3 volt here. Okay. If you have 5 volt supply of the VDDIO, VDD of microcontroller, then you have to supply 5 volt here. Okay. So this is how it works. So basically this VIO will be taking from 1.8 volt to 5.5 volt. So any of the labels which is required for your particular microcontroller, that particular IO voltage you can supply to the transceiver IC. That's the meaning. Hope you have understood this. If you still have any doubt regarding the VIO voltage labels or something like that, you put down your queries in the comment box and we shall be able to answer you out properly. Now let us get into a little bit more detail about the uh, CAN transceiver IC, like what is the absolute maximum ratings. Okay, so we must understand what is the absolute maximum rating of this particular transceiver IC, MCP2561FD. I am writing always B, okay, and 2562FD both. Okay. So you can see VDD pin can take up to plus 7 volt, and this VIO also is capable of plus 7 volt. It won't damage. Then we have TXD, RXD standby and VSS pins minus 0.3 volt to VIO plus zero point 0.3 volt. Okay. Then DC voltage at CAN high, CAN low and split pin will be minus 58 to plus 58. So this is much more capable compared to MCP2551, which we had seen in our last session. Okay. It has transient volt capabilities on CAN high and CAN low up to minus 150 volt to 100 volt. So minus 150 volt to 100 volt, it has the transient capabilities on your CAN high and CAN low buses. It has a storage temperature of minus 55 degree to 150 degree. Okay. It has operating ambient temperature range of minus 40 degree to 150 degree. And it has virtual junction temperature range minus 40 degree to 190 degree. So these are all maximum rating. Okay, absolute maximum rating. You are not supposed to work up to this particular voltage values or temperature values. There is operating range temperature range which will be, or operating voltage range on which we will be working on. As you can see, we have ESD protection on 2561 up to plus minus 14 kV, and ESD protection on MCP 2562 up to plus minus 8 kV. Okay. Human body model is there up to plus minus 8 kV, and we have ESD protection on all other pins is plus minus 4 kV. So on CAN high and CAN low pin, it is little bit higher, but on all other pins like RXD pin, TXD pin, split pin, or standby pin, all those pins plus minus 4 kV capabilities is there. We have machine model on all pins is plus minus 300 volt, and we have ESD protection on all pins. Charge device model, that is plus minus 750 volt. Okay. Now coming to the fact that normal DC characteristic, that was like absolute maximum rating. Now we will be working on normal mode operating ranges. So V voltage range is 4.5 volt to 5.5 volt. So very suitable for your 5 volt application. Okay. So VDD we will be supplying 5 volt. Similar to that, we have supply current like typical it is around 5 milliampere current it will be taking, or normal maximum it will take up 10 milliampere current. You can see that is in recessive mode. Okay. If it is a VTXD 0 volt, that is dominant mode, it will be taking max typical of around 45 milliamperes of current. Okay. So this is how it is taken. You can see standby current is very less, which is just 5 microampere in 2561 as well as 2562 both. We have high level of power on reset comparator, that is minimum 3.8 volt to maximum 4.3 volt. So your VDD must be greater than voltage level of power on reset high. Okay, then only the IC will be in working condition. So you have to make sure the voltage level is more than this voltage power on reset high level. Okay, if it is VDD is less than voltage power on reset low level, that is 4 volt or 3.4 volt lower than this, then the IC will be in not active condition, that is inactive condition. Okay, and hysteresis is a minimum 0.3 volt to maximum 0.8 volt. Okay, so this is the understanding. IO supply, as I already told you, 1.8 volt to 5.5 volt it can take. So our application will be taking 3.3 volt because our microcontroller IOs are 3.3 volt levels. So this is how the DC characteristics were there. Good. So we have already seen almost all the informations about it. Let us try to understand how you can identify your product based on the requirement of your power number part numbers. So as I told you, it is available in extended temperature range, which is -40 to 125 degree centigrade, and it is high temperature range, which is H, which is -40 to 150 degree centigrade. Okay, so if you want extended, you have to go ahead with E. If you want high temperature range, you have to go ahead with H. Now, so what we'll do is we'll talk about SOIC package. So SOIC package will take up this part number MCP 2561 FD dash E slash SN. So this is the part number that is going to come up in our design. I'll suggest you to go ahead with this as well, MCP 2561FD-E/P. Okay, so this is PDIP package for your very sturdy application in your automotives. Okay, so these are the two parts that you can go ahead for your design. So I am going to take up this particular part number, which is MCP 2561FD-E/SN. Okay, so let me write here part number properly. MCP 2561FD dash E slash SN. This is my SOIC 8 package. Okay. Now let us move to the most awaited portion of this particular session, which is the circuit implementation. Okay, so this is the very simple design that I have implemented in my applications. So this is my CAN RX and CAN TX pin, which is connected to our CAN TX and CAN RX of our microcontroller. Okay, and this is RA10. This is one of the GPIO, general purpose input output pin of your MCU, which is connected to the standby pin, which will be going low for normal operation, and whenever we want to make it a standby, we'll make this GPIO high so that it doesn't consume any power or any current, it doesn't consume. Now coming to the fact that CAN high and CAN low, so I have connected 120 ohm in between them. So this is how it is connected. Okay, and you can take up this particular 120 ohm of 0805 package minimum as high as possible. You want, you can take it up 1206 package of your resistor of 120 ohm. Okay, we have supply pin number 3 VDD with a zero point 0.1 microfarad bypass capacitor. So this VDD pin is 5 volt level. Okay, now this CAN high and CAN low can directly get connected to the D-sub connector, so that it can transmit the data through CAN transmission. So you can see pin number 2 is connected to your low and pin number 7 is connected to your high. So this is how the connection of your D-sub connector is also there. One more thing you can choose is instead of directly connecting to the uh, like a standby pin or something like that, we have another version which is 2562, right? So in 2562 we have a additional pin which is VIO pin. Instead of split pin, here it is split pin, you have kept it floating, you have VIO pin. So in this VIO pin, what I have done is, since I am working with a microcontroller of 3.3 volt IOS levels, so RA10 is connected as a standby mode, and then RxTX is already connected as usual in our 2561 also. Then VIO is supplied with 3.3 volt voltage. Okay, the rest all are same. This is the 5 volt VDD, and this is CAN high and CAN low is connected and going to the pin number 2 and pin number 7 of D sub 9 connector. So hope you have understood the complete design stage and design techniques of this particular current transceiver ICs, MCP2561FD and MCP2562FD both. All right. So if you do have any questions regarding the selection process of a particular CAN transceiver IC, or how to implement this in your particular design, you can put down your queries or your comments in the comment box. And if you do like our videos regarding this particular informations or any training sessions or something like that, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you.